The bar swelled with throngs of Charm City's beautiful people as they mingled and preened. The bass of the music throbbed through the floor of the warehouse-turned nightclub, the DJ spinning a Pitbull track. Lasers flashed along to the beat, jarring Brody Janik's nerves. He sat inconspicuously in a corner just off the dance floor, trying in vain to hear what his friend was saying. A parade of women sauntered past his table, invitation in their eyes, and the sway of their hips. "I can't believe you've never been here," Robbie had to shout to be heard. Ignoring the come-hither looks from the women vying for his attention, Brody leaned closer to his best friend from childhood. "It opened this spring while I was away, but I've been wanting to check it out," he lied. Sure, he'd heard of the Meat Market mega bar from his teammates and other Baltimore celebrities, but he never intended on actually walking in the place. A few years ago, a club like this might have been his scene, but Brody's tastes had mellowed after 5 seasons in the league. At 27, he was at the top of his game athletically. By virtue of his good looks and talent, he was practically a household name. He should be out reaping the benefits of his celebrity. But a melancholy had settled over Brody like a blanket of fog rolling over his vacation home on Cape Cod, and he couldn't seem to find his way out of it. He was tired of everyone wanting to be with him because of what he was and not who he was. And he was scared shitless that when the game was gone, Brody himself might not know who he was. A college buddy had busted up a vertebra in his neck playing football last season, an injury that was felt throughout the NFL. While other players shoved the incident into the recesses of their minds in order to keep up the nerve to play every week, Brody had trouble shaking the image. It didn't help that he had a time bomb ticking inside him that could end his career at any moment. A waitress dressed in a pleated thigh-length kilt and a blouse 2 sizes too tight placed a tray of beers onto their table. Her bare thigh not so casually brushed against Brody's forearm as she leaned over. "Compliments of the ladies at the bar," she said brightly, gesturing toward a trio of women seated at the far end of the room, their perfect white smiles making them look innocent. If someone bothered to check their IDs, they'd probably all be fake, Brody thought to himself. "Wow, man, you've got the life." Robbie's tone was reverent as he plucked a fresh beer off the table. "I don't think I've ever had a hot woman buy me a drink." Brody was ashamed of himself as he wondered if Robbie, too, only wanted to be seen with him because he was a big-time jock. Reaching for his glass of mineral water, he reminded himself that this was one of his oldest friends. Sure, their lives had been on different paths the past 10 years, but Robbie knew the real Brody, didn't he? It was hard to tell over the noise in this place. Brody would have preferred he and Robbie catch up in one of the small neighborhood restaurant bars in Fells Point, but his buddy was visiting town and wanted to experience Celtic Charm, Baltimore's newest place to see and be seen. Robbie was also enticed by the opportunity to party with some of Brody's teammates. "Shoot, man, check out that girl in the white skirt. Ooh-wee, she can sure shake that thing." Running back, Deshaun Wilson flicked his dreads over a shoulder as he crooked a finger at the woman in white. "Come here, baby." The object of Deshaun's desire either didn't like what he was offering, or she was playing hard to get. After throwing him a disdainful look over her shoulder, she sauntered off toward a table of women on the other side of the dance floor. Deshaun's fellow members of the Blaze receiving corps nearly busted a gut laughing. "Oh, no, she didn't." Righteously indignant, Deshaun grabbed his drink as he rose from the table to follow her. Judging by the slowness of her sachet and the way she was peeking over her shoulder to see if he was following, Brody figured the wide receiver would be rewarded for his efforts before the night was over. His place at the table was immediately taken by Shane Devlin, the Blaze quarterback who, after 10 years in the league, was happily assured of a place in NFL history and a life after football. The old man was also well situated in his personal life with a new wife and a baby on the way. Hell, the guy even had a dog that shagged passes on the run. Jamal Hollis, the rookie among the Blaze receivers, quickly dashed to the bar to get the quarterback a drink. In a quirky NFL tradition, Devlin wined and dined his offensive linemen each